Live from JMT Studios, Gary Seisel and Adam Buckingham are the Two Jersey Kids.
What is up, y'all? Two Jersey Kids is back again for this Tuesday episode where we break down all the games that are coming out this week. If you didn't know, I am one of your hosts, Adam Buckingham, alongside my good friend Gary, the best stick handler in the business, Seisel. How you doing, Gary?
Doing excellent, sir, on this brilliant Monday. It's been a interesting Monday. A lot of, again, cool, school stuff to get done. Semester's wrapping up, so been a little hectic.
What have you been up to, though? That's the question. What have you been doing?
Well, I've actually been playing No Man's Sky a little bit more. I mentioned earlier, I guess last episode, that I've been playing, or haven't played, survival mode. So I actually got into that over the past week or so, and I've been playing it. It is hard as fuck.
And you didn't keep a journal from me, which I was pretty upset when I tweeted at you at Two Jersey Kids on Twitter.
Fun story, or not really funny story at all. That picture I posted on Twitter, well, I got to my ship, but I didn't originally gather a specific resource because I figured, okay, all I need to do is power the launch thrusters on my spaceship, and I can just take off and fly back to wherever I need to fly to. So I figured that'd be enough. So I get to my ship, power up my launch thrusters, and then it's like, you need to charge up your pulse engine. And I'm like, why is that necessary? That is for use when you're in space flying planet to planet. I don't need to use that now. But they made you do it. So I couldn't go anywhere from there. I couldn't gather. Yeah. So I just restarted. But
when in doubt, folks, just give the fuck up.
Well, I honestly had to. It's so hard because when you move, your life support goes down in survival mode, and when you move, if you run, it goes down faster. If you use your jetpack, it goes down 3 times as fast as
Jesus.
normal. Plutonium is impossible to find.
That's intense.
It is so hard. So the second time I played through, it was actually easier. The ship was closer to my spawn-in point. So
did you get a better planet too?
No. Well, actually, yes. The
you
first
spawn
one
on
was
Hoth again, because that's basically what it seemed like when you first tweeted out that picture.
That was terrible because that planet that I spawned in on, like you said, is really friggin' cold. So the next one I spawned on had toxic rain, which is not that bad because all I had to do was just get underneath cover, like a canopy of some sort, and I'd be fine. So when I was really fucking cold on the other planet, I had to like dig into the ground and find caves. It was fucking terrible. So yeah.
Sounds intense, man.
But to get more on point, I guess. Obviously, PSX was recent, so really excited to hear about the Crash Bandicoot remaster. Obviously, a lot of childhood memories wrapped up in that game. Obviously, the Uncharted standalone DLC, awesome. Cannot wait to get into that.
Same.
But
there's so many things to talk about, but of course we break that down on the Friday episode. Good segue, Gary. I like it. So we here at Two Jersey Kids, we give you 2 episodes a week. A shorter one on Tuesday. Right now, it's in your ear holes. Even though we sort of been talking for like 3 minutes about No Man's Sky, your favorite. But Tuesday is where we break down and give you a synopsis of the games coming out this week. And we're going to do something a little fun, or try to in the future, doing like betting odds type, whether or not this game is going to get an over under of a certain score on Metacritic. Because I thought it was fun. Add a different layer to this episode, so it's not just us reading summaries and, saying literally nothing. And then we have our Friday episode where we break down the large topics and news that is going on in the video game industry. Obviously, PSX wrapped up over the weekend, and we'll discuss it in full on that date, even though I want to discuss it really badly right now, but at least let us gestate our opinions and think on it more, so we can give you our a better, more genius opinion, even though I seriously want to talk about, The Last of Us Part 2, because it looks awesome.
Indeed. And also Destiny, because, it's Destiny, and that's my game after all.
I could give 2 shits about Destiny, but, that's just me. So, shall we get into the video games releasing this week?
Absolutely, let's do it.
Let's go into it. Tuesday, December 6th, Ark Survival coming to PS4, stranded on the shores of a mysterious island. You must learn to survive using your cunning to kill or tame the primeval creatures roaming the land and encounter other players to survive, dominate, and escape. Coming to PS4, obviously. I already said that. It originally came out on PC, and then it came to Xbox One. I've been hearing really good things about Ark Survival. Obviously, on PC, I think it was in early access. They said it has a lot of great parts to it. Of course, it's not a completely full-fledged, full flushed-out game quite yet. There's some hiccups and everything, but I've really heard good things when it comes to Ark Survival. I know you had something on, Gary, right?
Yeah, so some of these environments look really cool. Actually, one in particular, it's like a forest-type environment, but it reminds me distinctly of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and Kashyyyk is...
Of course, always back to Star Wars with Gary.
It's the Wookiee planet, and basically there's like walkways and stuff like basically built into the trees. But yeah, the environments look awesome and really well done. So I actually I want to look at that a little more in depth. Maybe it's something I could take a look at on PS4. I'm
pretty certain it's not like a full $60 game, if I'm certain. So I don't think it charged that much on Xbox One or PC. But I'd have to look into it. Moving on, 3-on-3 Freestyle coming to PS4. Welcome to one of the most vibrant, diverse, exciting, and competitive sports in the world, street basketball. Pick your player from a pool of custom-designed, one-of-a-kind characters based on real-life street basketball players. Team up with your friends, online or in person, and hit the court to play authentic, fast-paced gameplay. This reminded me of, what was it, Street Ball? I think it's NBA Street. Yeah. That game was my favorite basketball game of all time, NBA Street, doing crazy trick moves, alley-oops with, Allen Iverson handling the ball, because Allen Iverson is awesome. Philadelphia 76ers fans in the house. But it looks... do you have anything on this, Gary? Do you have any feelings about the gameplay? It's just 3-on-3 basketball. Looks straightforward.
I always like these type of arcadey games. I think today a lot of sports games try to get way too simulation, and it's okay to an extent, but sometimes it's fun to just play a sort of like a wacky, like fast-paced game like this. So,
agreed. Yeah. I've always wanted some of the NBA, because NBA 2K has the realistic gameplay down on lock. But I want, NBA Live to go back to the run and gun basketball games that they used to be. You could sprint all out, slam dunk it, shoot like crazy threes. That's the game that I like. So over under, Gary, do you think it'll get over or under a 70 score on Metacritic? It's a little high, but I just, average, because average is not really a 5 anymore. It's kind of like a 7. I feel like in critic world these days.
I'll say over, maybe like a 75, somewhere around there. I don't know if it's going to be just what I'm looking at anyway. I don't know how good the gameplay is going to be. I'm not sure what company's making this game, but I just feel like sometimes when these like or not really third party, but like when these
they made like freestyle games for the PC before. Freestyle 1 and Freestyle 2, I believe.
All right, I'll say over. Yeah, if they have the experience, it might be a good game.
I really think it's going to be under, because I just don't see how they can pack that much gameplay to keep people there and keep people interested, which I feel like is going to hinder them in the review process, because it's all about longevity when it comes to games, certain types of games anyway. But that's just me. Moving on. Dead Rising 4 coming to PC and Xbox One. This is the holiday season in Willamette, Colorado. A mysterious outbreak has overrun the Willamette Memorial Megaplex Mall and surrounding town with dangerous and deadly predators. Join Frank West as you explore a vast open-world sandbox filled with dangerous new zombies and a myriad ways to kill them as you seek to uncover the truth behind the outbreak or die trying. Classic. Dead Rising 4 now. The Dead Rising games before have always been pretty solid, above average. Great hack and slash zombie types games. Just a bunch of goofiness when it comes to these types of games, and different weapons to use, different costumes to wear, and just be ridiculous as you slash a bunch of zombies. The over under though, Gary, is a 80 score on Metacritic. What do you think? Do you think it's going to go over or under?
I'm going to say under. I'm going to say The game's been good, obviously, up to this point. I want to say that the fourth iteration of this game is going to fall slightly short of expectations at a 75-70 area.
I kind of agree with you because I think Dead Rising 3 was along those lines, so maybe people are waiting on the massive massacre of zombies in these type of games, and the zombie trope is kind of starting to wear a little thin when it comes to just slow, boring moving zombies. But I kind of agree with you on that, Gary. You got the next three.
There we go. All right. Demetrius, the Big Cynical Adventure, coming out to Vita. Demetrius is a quirky adventure game packed with tons of humor. Bjorn Thonin, a slob of an antique dealer living in Paris, is robbed one night after coming home drunk. Sounds like me. Forced to conduct his own investigation with the help of his neighbor Sandra, he ends up involved in a murky, mysterious affair. Will these unlikely heroes be able to rise up and discover agent secrets? Remains to be seen. However, the over-under for Metacritic, what is it going to be? I don't know. I'm going to say, based on what I was looking at earlier.
The over-under, FY, he didn't say the over-under score was 75.
Yeah. What? What happened?
You never said what the over-under score, Gary. That's how the over-under works. Have you ever bet before when it comes to scores? Over or under certain score?
Technically, we're not really betting against each other. Okay, fine, whatever.
If anybody out there wants to keep tally of who wins, please do, because I will fucking murder Gary.
Yeah, of course. I'm going to say over. What was
75.
God damn it. It looks kind of like a funny game here, so I'm going to go with over. What the hell? 80.
There's not many games on Vita, so I feel like it is going to be an over because I've heard good things when it originally came out on PC, and from what I've seen on Steam, people really loved and enjoyed the quirkiness of this game. So I feel like it's going to be an over, and it's going to be these adventure games are kind of perfect on Vita because you can use the touchscreen to your advantage. So I'm excited. The dialogue seemed pretty funny, so I think it'll be an over for sure. But the whole story, the synopsis, slob of antique dealer living in Paris is robbed one night after coming home drunk. That reminds me of I'm getting completely off topic. One of our friends, I'll tell you after because I don't want to name names, but apparently he came back from the bar. He's a very tall guy. That's what I'm going to say.
I already know.
You already know. He came back from the bar drunk. He lives in Philadelphia somewhere. He came back to the bar drunk. He was so drunk that he fell asleep on a bench and then ended up getting robbed by people, and they took his clothes and everything.
Oh my god.
It was insane. I'm like, oh my goodness. And I don't think he remembers a thing.
That's probably for the best.
Jesus. It's nuts. People don't drink so much where you have to fall asleep on a bench. There's a fun little tidbit there.
Or have friends with you to
Yeah.
Cover your ass. Anyway.
So you're not falling asleep on a bench.
Moving on to The Last Guardian, coming out to PS4. In a strange and mystical land, a young boy discovers a mysterious creature which he forms a deep, unbreakable bond. The unlikely pair must rely on each other to escape towering, treacherous ruins filled with unknown dangers. Experience the journey of a lifetime. The over-under for this is 87.
This is that I'm basically the way I go about this over-under process is kind of sort of just shooting something at the wall based on like previous things that they've developed. But this is developed by Team Ico. They've been developing it for nearly 10 years, trying to create this game after Ico, I think, and Shadow of the Colossus, which were amazing games on the PlayStation 2. Because this was originally announced for PS3, but it never got to it. I feel like it's going to underwhelm people. I feel like it's going to be under an 87. Because what I've been seeing from Twitter is that there's been some performance issues, which always drags down a game when you're on this current gen console, and there's still drag issues. Apparently there's some gameplay issues where it's kind of frustrating. It's like a waiting game trying to get your big bird dog companion to do things to solve a certain puzzle, and some of the physics is a little wonky. So that's why I'm going to go with under, just because those points. I still think it's going to be a pretty decent game, just not amazing up to Team Ico standards of the last two games that they developed.
I want to latch on to your opinions there because, quite frankly, it's kind of hard to argue against any of them. I'll say under, and I'll say around maybe an 80.
And really, what game has really became like amazing with this much hype for being in develop for like close to 10 years? They never come close to expectations.
Yeah, because the hype machine.
The hype machine destroys. Moving on. Nubla.
Oh, wait. Isn't that me?
No, that's me. I read.
No, I start with Demetrius.
Oh,
and then went on to Last Guardian.
This is why we are not a professional team.
Okay, so like he said, Nubla coming out to PS4.
I was just helping you out with the name. That's all.
Well, that was very helpful. Discover the wonderful world of Nubla, full of puzzles and forgotten places. Who has not dreamed of plunging into one of the paintings hanging on the wall of the museum and venture into an unknown world? It's a damn good question. The over-under here is 65. I'm going to say under, actually. I've been looking at this game, kind of funky. I mean, I'm kind of biased maybe, but it's a little funky to me. I don't know how well it's really going to do. But yeah, that's just me.
It has an interesting art. Has an interesting art style. It was 65, right? Interesting art style. I don't know. Some people are still a little generous because 65 is definitely a little low, and a lot of reviewers can be a little generous. I'm gonna say slightly over because people do enjoy puzzles, but I think it's just barely. Maybe getting like a 65.5 or 66. But I just. Maybe the people will enjoy like puzzle aspects or the art style will bring it up because it's definitely an interesting looking game to say the least. It stands out from the crowd.
Very artsy for sure.
Now it's my turn to read, Gary, right?
Yes, it is.
Cool. Red Faction coming to PS4, lured to Mars by the Ultor Corporation's promise of a better life. Thousands have come to seek their fortune and work for a massive mining company, but all is not as it seems. A deadly plague is sweeping through the barracks, and miners suffer daily abuse at the hands of the Ultor guards. Is a revolution on the horizon? Is it, Gary? Is it? But
actually, the only question I really have is this game. Oh, so it's like a port essentially.
I think it was previously. PlayStation 2.
Yeah, it came out in 2001.
Yeah, so I think it's one of the ports coming to PS4 now.
Interesting.
I think this is what Red Faction Guerrilla, classic game that I love. So not classic, but I really enjoyed Red Faction Guerrilla on the PS3 and Xbox 360 when I had it. And I think that's what this was based off of. Where you can destroy certain environments. I don't really have much to say on Red Faction. I think it's a first-person shooter. That's about it. Moving on, Space Overlords coming to PS4 and Vita. 4 brothers known as the Overlords have been incarcerated by the evil Kesadon. Sure. For many years, while he has slowly destroyed the cosmos, you and your brothers must rise up and purge the evil contaminating the planets you have nurtured over the centuries.
Why do I feel like I actually read this before?
Because I think it came out for PC.
Yeah. I remember that name. Kesadon.
Kesadon.
Yeah.
Over-under is a 60. It's rather low, but from what I'm seeing with the gameplay, it doesn't seem... I don't know how exciting... It doesn't look too exciting. I don't know. It doesn't look like a type of game that I would be into. From what I remember, I think it didn't do... People didn't enjoy it too much on Steam, so I'm going to go with under. Just doesn't seem... It seems like an underwhelming game.
I think 60 is... It's low, but I'm going to go... All right, shot in the dark. I'm going to say over, but not by much. Maybe a few points, maybe 65, something like that.
Yeah, because, I mean, Metacritic, there are always reviews that sort of bring it up. But actually, fun fact, we'll be talking about reviews in the next episode when certain publishers sort of blacklist small media types for review scores. It'll be interesting discussion. But moving on, Werewolves Within coming to PSVR. After several attacks on townsfolk, the medieval village of Gallowstone has had enough. With special guidebook in hand, players congregate to vote and eliminate any and all possible werewolves hiding disguised in the village. Werewolves Within is a fast-paced game of hidden roles and social deduction for 5 to 8 players. Have you ever played the actual game Werewolf? Really enjoy that game.
I have not.
But essentially, Werewolf, if you don't know, Gary, you have certain roles as players. The one that I had was where there was werewolves, there was minions that try to help the werewolf, and there's certain, like, there's the seer that can see certain things, but I think this is a different play on that. So different people have different roles in the game, and they try to decipher who did what. So as that role, before you go to bed, you can do this role and I guess look in on somebody before they go to bed and understand and get more information about them. So it's like, and then at the end, you vote to see who you think will be the werewolf, and that person gets killed.
Interesting. So the over/under for this is obviously 60. So I want to go with above. I think it sounds like an interesting premise.
Hey, I think it would be over. It's definitely, I feel like, a good game on PSVR. More interactive, more immersive, so to speak. Talking with people, I guess, mic'd up and trying to decipher who did what. I think that it's definitely over on I just think it's over than 60, because 60 seems low, and the game in general is always a pretty fun game. I know people enjoy it. But Gary, you're moving on.
So, hashtag Kill All Zombies coming out to Vita. Hashtag Kill All Zombies is thrusting civilians into a fight or survival against the unleashed population of ravenous zombies, and you're the only one that's obviously wrong, who's destined to repulse them. The over-under here is 60. I'm going to say under. And it may be because I'm not really a big zombie fan, but at the same time, I think the gaming industry is just being oversaturated with this type of genre, so I'm going to go under on this one.
And if you're looking at this game, it is essentially a top-down shooter where you have, I guess, certain perks or specs, and you run around with hordes of zombies running at you, and you just shoot them. So it doesn't seem like it's too much of like a story-driven game, so to speak. I don't know. It doesn't look. It looks like a pretty decent game. Looks pretty visually not too amazing. I think it barely gets the over. I think it's barely over the 60. I think it may be a 65 about. But it's not something that really appeals to me, so to speak. But that's just me.
Indeed. Okay, so moving on to Thursday, December 8th, is Gigantic Open Beta. This is coming out for PC and Xbox One. Gigantic combines shooting and strategy gameplay for hardcore 5-on-5 MOBA action designed for skilled gamers. Choose from a huge roster of unique heroes, each with fantastical spells, weapons, and abilities. Fight against enemy teams summoning incredible creatures to combat the foe. Race to power up your team's Guardian before your enemy beats you to the 5-story high punch. Fully powered Guardians go gigantic and help take out the enemy. Prove you have what it takes to ensure your Guardians rule the day.
So if you guys on PC and Xbox One want to check out this MOBA, go for it. It's an open beta on Thursday, December 8th.
And there's no over-under. Damn it.
Because it's not an actual game. It's an open beta, Gary. Get your head in the right place.
Yeah. All right. Going on to Arcade Archive's Neo Geo Samurai Showdown, coming out to PS4. Samurai Showdown is a fighting game that was originally released by SNK in 1993, the year I was born. The game features 12 swordmasters, each with their own unique personality. They will battle among each other before taking on Shiro Tokisada Amakusa in the game's climax.
Golf clap for Gary. Golf clap. Woo.
And I didn't even read that beforehand.
Nice. Another arcade Neo Geo classic coming to PS4. Sounds like a fighting game. Check it out if you're interested. If you're interested in those type of games. Is it my turn?
Yeah, take the wheel.
I'm excited. Flying Bunny is coming to PS4. Gravity Bound Shooting Runner. That doesn't sound right at all. Gravity Bound Shooting Runner, cute anime characters with cool abilities, over 25 bosses with powerful attacks, never-ending stages. I have literally no fucking idea what this game is. I couldn't find any gameplay on it, so I couldn't really do an over-under. I don't know what this game really is. I think it's an iOS game ported to PS4. That's what I want to say. It is. That's why I'm feeling in the balgular region. I'm just feeling it down there. It's feeling a little tingly, so I think that's where it's at.
Okay.
But,
Fair enough.
Yep. I embarrassed Gary. Gary doesn't have the word or the cojones to say whatever he wants on the podcast, but I do.
Oh, yeah, that's.
I do. That's why everyone loves me more, Gary. That's why they love me more.
Of course.
On Friday, only one game coming out on Friday, December 9th. Space Hulk Deathwing coming to PC. Space Hulk Deathwing is a first-person shooter experience based on Games Workshop's classic Space Hulk board game set in the universe of Warhammer 40,000. This is an over-under of 61. The reason being is I went off the developer... I can't remember the developer's name anymore. But their previous game... which didn't receive that many good reviews on Metacritic, and not many people liked it. And also, I also combined it with, Space Hulk. Seems like it's always around, but yet never really produces that well when it comes to these types of games. It does look fascinating, though, with the gameplay trailer that I have attached. Which, if you guys are interested, I will be releasing the list on twojerseykids.com, where you can actually click on the links to get gameplay trailers, so it's all in one convenient place. So if you're curious about the games and what they look like,
I want to say it goes over 61. I think the game. I mean, I haven't really seen too much gameplay of this, but at least from what I'm seeing in this trailer, the game looks polished. It looks interesting. I think it has an interesting story behind it. So I want to say over 61. I think that's pretty low. I think you can beat it.
Yeah, I think 61 is definitely low. So I feel like it definitely could reach over a 61. It just looks surprisingly polished, and it kind of looks a little fascinating. It's got a mix of sci-fi mixed with like old-time Victorian style, which is kind of interesting to say the least. But that's about it. Gary, out of all those fantastic games, which one interested you the most based on what you saw and read? There weren't too many, to be honest.
I'm gonna say Ark Survival Evolved. Obviously I never got a chance to play this before. It was on PC, but I just like the way the game looked, the environments, that sort of thing, and who isn't all for surviving, right? But I don't really know too much about that game. I'm gonna actually look more into it as time goes on, but. Yeah, that'd be my first choice.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback off you. I was going to think about saying Last Guardian, but those games never... I never been interested in those type of games too much. I've been meaning to get back and playing those games, but I haven't got around to it. And Last Guardian is not going to live up to hype, and the story in itself didn't really fascinate me too much with what was going on. Didn't hook me like everyone was hyped about it, but... So I'm going to go with Ark Survival Evolved. Based on what I've been seeing on Steam, everyone really enjoys it. Even though it's not like a perfect game, people really love the online capability of it. Capturing dinosaurs and using them as pets, I guess, or like beasts to ride, and creating factions and clans and being able to build up certain bases, using resources to build up bases. Sounds really fascinating to me, not gonna lie, and definitely something I would check out. Maybe me and Gary will finally find a game to play together, even though we have plenty of them, but Gary just fucking hates me, so he doesn't want to play with me. Because I destroy him.
Completely false.
Nope,
But,
it's true. Don't hide from the facts, Gary. Don't hide from the facts. But that is it for this week of all the games coming out this week. There weren't too many crazy ones, I guess, because it's coming down. The holiday season is ending. But we will always be here every Tuesday and Friday. Gary, do you have anything to say to the beautiful listeners out there before I end off with this generic spiel?
Well, I mean, I guess I don't want to be too generic myself, but once again, happy to be here. All the people that are listening in and all the people that are downloading, we thank you. We love you all. Mm-hmm. I'm going to see you again on Friday. I don't want to get too much into what we're talking about then, because obviously there's a lot to talk about. We're looking forward to that. So I'll see you all on Friday. It's been a good time.
Big thing, our fourth episode in a row, fourth big episode, Friday episode. that hit over 100 listens, which we are so thankful for. We promote the shit out of the podcast, so it kind of makes sense. We plug it everywhere. But, that's how you get things done. That's what you got to do. So if you are a new listener, thank you so much for being here on your podcast app service that you use. Please hit that subscribe button. It would be great for you guys to subscribe to us so you can hear us every single Tuesday and Friday of every week. I know you can't get enough of us. Continued listeners, that's the word I was thinking of. Thank you for being here. Thank you for continuing to listen to us. We really appreciate all of you so much. Please tweet us. If you really want to interact with us, please tweet us at 2JerseyKids. We would love to interact and talk with you about the games you're playing, what you think of them. We'll read them out on the podcast. We'll read out the interaction on the podcast because, who doesn't like having their name said on the podcast? I mean, I do when people read my name on certain podcasts, but that's just me. So, yeah, we're 2 Jersey Kids. We release a Tuesday episode that's in your ear holes right now, and a Friday episode where we break down the news and views and everything that's going on in the video game industry. So we'll be back this Friday, but until then, please follow us on Twitter at 2 Jersey Kids, subscribe to the podcast, rate us on iTunes, and, check out 2JerseyKids.com where we will release the whole list that we had with all the gameplay links to it that I could find anyway. So it's in a nice, convenient place. Thanks all. Gary, say bye.
Adios.
All right. Peace out, y'all. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Gary and Adam have left the building.